I'm sitting here in my new apartment right now, surrounded by cardboard boxes, and you know what? I feel this strange sense of peace I haven't felt in years. Just 3 weeks ago, my girlfriend Natalie stood in front of 30 people at her own birthday party and called me a worthless loser. Screamed it, actually. And now, while she's scrambling to pick up the pieces of everything she destroyed, I'm over here quietly rebuilding my life from the ground up. Let me back up. Natalie and I had been together for 4 years. We'd been living together for 2 of those years, sharing what I thought was a life we were building together. I'm 36, and I work as an HVAC technician. It's not the most glamorous job in the world, I'll admit that, but it pays well, it's honest work, and I'm good at what I do. Natalie, she's 34, and she worked in marketing for this cosmetics company. She was always going on about brand image and networking opportunities, always talking about optics and perception. I should have seen the signs earlier, honestly. The party. God, that party. It was at our place, well, technically my place since my name was the only one on the lease and I was the one paying the rent every month, but I never made a big deal about it. She invited everyone. Her work friends, her college friends, even some influencer types she was constantly trying to impress. I'd spent the entire day setting everything up. Decorations hung from every corner, professional catering laid out on tables, even hired a bartender to make it feel special. I dropped about $3,000 on her intimate gathering. That's what she called it. Intimate, 30 people. Everything was going fine. Music was playing, people were laughing, drinks were flowing. It was around 10 p.m. when things fell apart. I was in the kitchen, just grabbing more ice from the freezer, when I overheard her friend Megan asking about vacation plans. And Natalie, without missing a beat, said, "Oh, we're not going anywhere. Brian can't afford it right now." Just like that. So casual, so dismissive. I walked out into the living room, ice bucket in hand, and I tried to keep my voice even. Actually, I suggested we go camping at the state park. You said you wanted Cabo. She rolled her eyes. Right there in front of everyone, she rolled her eyes at me like I'd just said the stupidest thing she'd ever heard. Camping? Seriously, Brian? That's your idea of a vacation? Her friends started giggling, these little knowing laughs, and I felt my face getting hot. I should have walked away right then. I know that now. But instead I said, "It's what we can afford if you want to keep leasing that BMW." And that's when she snapped. She was standing there with a wine glass in her hand, wearing this designer dress I knew cost more than our rent, surrounded by all these people she was trying so hard to impress. And she looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Pure contempt. "God, you're such a worthless loser." The words came out sharp and clear, cutting through the music and conversation. The room went dead silent. 30 pairs of eyes turned toward us, and I just stood there, frozen. "Look at you," she continued, her voice getting louder. "You fix air conditioners for a living. Do you know how embarrassing it is when people ask me what my boyfriend does? These people have real careers. Megan's dating a surgeon. Kelly's husband owns 3 restaurants. And I have to stand there and admit I'm dating a glorified maintenance man." I couldn't move. It felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. But she wasn't done. 4 years, Brian. 4 years I've waited for you to do something with your life. But no, you're perfectly content being mediocre. Playing your video games, drinking beer with your loser friends, zero ambition. You're dragging me down, and I'm tired of it. Something happened inside me in that moment. It wasn't heartbreak, not exactly. It was more like chains breaking, like weights falling off my shoulders. I stood there looking at her, this woman I'd spent 4 years with, and I realized I was seeing her clearly for the first time. "You know what?" I said, and my voice came out quiet, steady. "You're absolutely right." She blinked, surprised. "What?" "You're right," I repeated. "I am a worthless loser to you." I turned and walked straight to the bedroom, grabbed my phone, my wallet, my keys. When I came back out, she was standing there looking confused. "Where are you going?" she called after me. And there was this edge of panic in her voice now, like she was suddenly realizing this wasn't playing out the way she'd expected. "To stop being your loser," I said, and I walked out. Behind me, I could hear her yelling, "Don't be dramatic, Brian. Brian, get back here." But I didn't look back. I just kept walking, out the door, down the stairs, into my truck, and I drove away from that apartment, from that party, from her. I ended up at my buddy Trevor's place that night. He took one look at me, didn't ask a single question, just handed me a beer and set up the couch with blankets and a pillow. That's real friendship right there. When I woke up Sunday morning, I had 62 missed calls on my phone. 62. And the texts, God, there were so many texts from Natalie. They started off apologetic. "Baby, come home. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. We need to talk." Then they got accusatory. "This is stupid. You're overreacting. Answer your phone." And then they turned manipulative. "You can't just leave me." But the ones that really got me were later, after I hadn't responded. The narrative completely shifted. "You abandoned me at my own party. You humiliated me. Everyone thinks you're abusive now. My friends are worried about me. You need help, Brian." It was like watching someone rewrite history in real time. I only texted her back once. "You're right, I was a worthless loser. I'm working on that. Your stuff will be packed by Friday. Pick it up by Sunday or it's going to Goodwill." My phone started ringing immediately. I didn't answer. Monday morning, I did something I'd been thinking about for 2 years but had been too scared to actually do. I applied for a business license. See, I'd always wanted to start my own HVAC company, be my own boss, build something that was mine. But Natalie had always talked me out of it. She'd say it was too risky, that it wasn't the right time, that we needed stability. What she really meant was that owning a small HVAC business wasn't impressive enough for her Instagram feed. It didn't sound good at cocktail parties. By Wednesday, I'd filed for an LLC, set up business banking, designed a basic logo and business cards. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I called 10 old clients who'd asked me over the years if I did side work. People I'd met through my regular job who trusted me. Every single one of them said they'd been waiting for me to go out on my own. Thursday, Natalie showed up at Trevor's apartment. I opened the door, and there she was, looking tired and smaller somehow. "We need to talk," she said. "No, we don't," I replied. "Brian, please, I'm sorry. I was showing off for those people, you know how they are." "Yeah," I said, "I do know now." She tried tears next. Real ones, or at least they looked real. 4 years, you're just going to throw away 4 years over one bad night? "No," I told her, and I kept my voice calm. "I'm walking away from 4 years of you being ashamed of me. There's a difference." "I wasn't ashamed," she said, but she couldn't even look me in the eye. "I just wanted more for us." "For us?" I said, "or for you?" She switched tactics then, got defensive. "Fine, whatever, but you can't just kick me out. I have rights." "What rights?" I asked. "Your name isn't on the lease." "I've lived there for 2 years. I have legal rights," she insisted. "As my guest," I said, "legally you have no claim. I checked." Her whole face went red. "You can't be serious. Your stuff is packed in boxes by the door. Brittany has the key." Brittany was our neighbor, neutral party. "Where am I supposed to go?" Natalie asked, and she actually sounded lost. "I hear Megan's surgeon boyfriend has a nice place," I said, and I closed the door. That weekend got interesting. Natalie showed up Saturday afternoon, but she didn't come alone. She brought reinforcements, her mom Diane, her sister Ashley, and 3 of her friends including the infamous Megan. They came ready for war, or maybe an intervention. Diane knocked on the door first, and when I opened it, she launched right in. "Brian, this is ridiculous. Couples fight. You don't end an entire relationship over one argument." "It wasn't an argument," I said. "It was her showing me exactly who she really is." And I listened. Ashley, Natalie's sister, jumped in next. She was drunk. People say things they don't mean when they're drunk. "Drunk words are sober thoughts," I replied. Then Megan, standing there with her arms crossed, decided to add her 2 cents. "You're being really immature about this. Natalie deserves better." I actually laughed. "You know what? You're right again. She does deserve better than a worthless loser, so I'm giving her the opportunity to go find it." They collected the boxes while Natalie supervised, making sure to point out everything she claimed was hers. "That coffee maker is mine," she said. "You bought it with my credit card," I reminded her. "Sure, take it." "The TV is mine," she tried. "Here's the receipt from Best Buy," I said, pulling it up on my phone. "My name, my card, nice try." She was getting desperate now, you could see it. "Half this furniture is mine." "You mean the furniture I bought before we even met?" I said. Interesting legal theory. As they were loading the last boxes into the car, she played what she must have thought was her trump card. She put her hand on her stomach and said, "I'm pregnant." Everyone froze. Even her mom looked shocked, turned to stare at her. "No, you're not," I said, and my voice was completely calm. "How would you know?" she demanded. "Because you had your period last week, unless you're claiming immaculate conception." I watched her friends exchange glances. She'd been caught in a lie and everyone knew it. "Also," I continued, "you might want to check your math. You were at that work conference in Miami 3 weeks ago, remember? The one where you shared a room with James?" Her face went completely white. "Yeah," I said. "I knew about Miami." Monday morning, the real game started. I got a call from my boss at the HVAC company where I still worked my regular job while getting my business off the ground. "Brian, I just got a disturbing email about you. Some allegations of theft." My stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" "Someone claiming to be a concerned citizen says you've been stealing equipment and selling it on the side." "That's completely false," I said, and I could hear my voice shaking. "I know it is," my boss said. "I checked our inventory myself this morning. Everything's accounted for down to the last washer. Just wanted to give you a heads up that someone's trying to cause trouble for you." Then came the online assault. Natalie posted on every single social media platform she had. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even LinkedIn. After 4 years together, he abandons me out of nowhere. No explanation, no conversation, just throws me out of my own home. Ladies, this is what happens when you date down. They resent your success and punish you for their inadequacy. Be careful out there. The comments were split. Half the people were supporting her, leaving angry emojis and calling me every name in the book. The other half seemed to smell that something wasn't adding up. But then something beautiful happened. Remember those 30 people at the party? Turns out at least 5 of them had been filming when Natalie went off on me. And by Tuesday, those videos were circulating. There was Natalie, wine glass in hand, clearly drunk and vicious, calling me a worthless loser, a glorified maintenance man, saying I was dragging her down. And there I was, just standing there quietly, taking it all in. Then you could hear me say, calm as anything, "You're absolutely right," before walking away with complete dignity. The narrative flipped instantly. Her friend, Qley, or the one whose husband owned the restaurants, commented on her post. "Natalie, we were all there. We all saw what actually happened. This is gaslighting." Another person from the party wrote, "You humiliated him in front of everyone, and he handled it with nothing but class." But the best comment came from someone I didn't even know, a guy named Derek. He wrote, "Imagine being called worthless by someone who drives a leased BMW she can't afford while living rent-free in his apartment. The audacity is breathtaking." Natalie deleted all the posts, but it was too late. Screenshots were already spreading everywhere. 2 weeks after the party, things escalated in ways I genuinely didn't expect. First, Natalie tried to break into the apartment. It was Tuesday night late, and I heard someone trying to use a key in the lock. I'd legally changed the locks after she'd moved out, so the key didn't work. But she kept trying, over and over, and then she started pounding on the door. "I know you're in there, Brian. This is my home too," I called the police. When they arrived, I showed them the lease with only my name on it, proof that she'd already moved out and taken all her belongings, texts from her admitting she'd collected her stuff, and her current address at her mother's house. They asked her to leave. She made a scene, started crying, said I was making her homeless. They threatened to arrest her. She finally left. Wednesday, I got a letter from a lawyer. Natalie was suing me. She was demanding $15,000 for unlawful eviction, $8,000 for emotional distress, half the value of everything in the apartment, and get this, 2 years of retroactive rent credit for all the rent she never paid. My lawyer, who happened to be Trevor's cousin and was doing this basically for beer money, read the letter and just laughed his ass off. "She has literally no case," he told me. "She was a guest in your apartment. She paid no rent. She has no legal claim to anything. This is pure desperation." He sent back a single-page response. "My client declines all your demands. Any further contact should be directed through counsel. P.S. We have video evidence of your client's verbal abuse and subsequent defamation campaign." Short and sweet. Thursday, I got a call from Natalie's company. Human Resources wanted to know if I'd be willing to discuss an incident involving one of their employees. Turns out those party videos had made their way to her workplace somehow. Her boss had seen her drunk and belligerent, being openly classist, talking about networking at what was clearly a party I'd paid for, while publicly humiliating me for being working class. Not exactly a good look for someone in marketing who's supposed to represent an inclusive, empowering cosmetics brand. I told HR I had no comment about the situation, but I wouldn't object if they wanted copies of the videos for their records. They thanked me very professionally and hung up. Friday, she showed up at my workplace. She looked wrecked, mascara running, hair a mess. "You got me fired," she said. "No," I replied. "You got yourself fired. Those were private videos from a private party." "A party with 30 people isn't private," I said. "That's just public humiliation with catering." She was actually crying now, real tears, not the manipulative kind. "Brian, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I screwed up everything. I lost my job, my apartment, my car." "Your car," I said. "You mean the BMW? That wasn't your car, that was a lease you couldn't afford." "I can't afford it without you," she said, and her voice broke. I felt bad for a second, I'm not going to lie. 4 years together, there had to have been some good times buried under all the bad. But then I heard her voice in my head, clear as day. "You're such a worthless loser." Sounds like a you problem, I said, and I walked away. 3 weeks after the party, I started taking stock of where my life was versus where hers had ended up. Me? I'd officially started my HVAC business, BT Climate Control. The BT stands for better than, but only Trevor knows that, and he thinks it's hilarious. I already had 4 clients just from word of mouth. I'd kept the apartment, redecorated it without all her live, laugh, love garbage everywhere. I was sleeping better than I had in years. I'd even lost 10 pounds from not eating the toxic fancy dinners she used to insist on. All those expensive restaurants where we'd spend money we didn't have to impress people who didn't care. Natalie, on the other hand, according to the gossip network that was still feeding me information, had been fired from the cosmetics company for conduct unbecoming. Her BMW got repossessed. She was living with her mom again. And apparently, she was trying to become an influencer now. Her Instagram had 847 followers. She'd posted this tearful apology video that got absolutely roasted in the comments. People were brutal. Then came a plot twist I wasn't expecting at all. Megan, the friend who'd been dating the surgeon, the one who'd giggled at me during the party, she sent me a DM on Instagram. "Hey Brian, you probably hate me and I wouldn't blame you, but I wanted to say something. After you left that night, we all sat around and talked. Natalie spent 2 hours absolutely trashing you, just going on and on. But the more she talked, the more we all started to realize something. You were the one keeping her entire life afloat. She actually admitted that you'd been paying for everything while she spent her whole salary on clothes and trips and maintaining this image. We called her out on it, and she got defensive and nasty with us too. She called me a gold-digging nurse, even though I'm actually a pediatric resident. She called Kelly's husband's restaurants overpriced trash. She showed her true colors to all of us that night. You dodged a bullet, Brian." I sat there staring at that message for a long time. "Thanks for letting me know," I finally replied. She responded immediately. "Also, my boyfriend's practice needs a new HVAC system installed. Are you interested? That one job alone would cover 3 months of my expenses." Last week, a full month after the party, everything came to a head in the strangest way. Natalie had been spiraling on social media, posting old couple photos with captions like, "Remember when you promised forever?" and "A real man doesn't abandon his family." Family? We didn't have kids. We didn't even have a dog. Unless she was counting her purse collection as dependents. Tuesday, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. "Is this Brian?" the voice asked. "Who's asking?" "This is James, from Miami." The conference guy, the one she'd shared a room with. My whole body tensed. "I'm listening." "Look, man, I just wanted you to know that nothing happened in Miami." "Okay," I said slowly. "No, I mean, she wanted something to happen. She was all over me, told me you two were basically done, that you were financially abusive and controlling. But something felt off, so I Googled you to make sure you weren't some psycho who'd come after me, and I found her Instagram. You two looked happy in all the pictures. I don't mess with taken women, so I rejected her. She got really pissed about it. That's why she was so mean to you at her party. She was taking it out on you." "Why are you telling me this now?" I asked. "Because she's been calling my company trying to get me fired, claiming I harassed her in Miami. My boss knows it's BS, but I wanted you to know what kind of person she really is." "I know exactly what kind of person she is," I said, "but thanks for the call." Wednesday, I got one last desperate text, this time from her sister's phone. "Brian, I know you hate me, but I need help. Mom's kicking me out. I have nowhere to go, no job, no car, no money. Please, I'll do anything. I'll sign whatever you want. I'll go to therapy. I'll apologize publicly. I'll tell everyone the truth. Just please don't let me end up homeless. I sat there staring at that text for a full hour. 4 years together. There had to have been some good times, right? Some memories worth something. Part of me, a small part, felt guilty. Then I heard it again, that voice. "You're such a worthless loser." I responded with just one text. "I hear McDonald's is hiring. They don't care about your boyfriend's job title." She sent back immediately, "You're cruel." "No," I typed. "I'm just no longer your worthless loser. Good luck, Natalie." And then I blocked the number. It's been 2 months now since the party. Time for what I'm calling the final update. I got a call from Diane, Natalie's mom, last week. "Brian, I owe you an apology," she said. And I honestly wasn't expecting that. Natalie finally told me the truth. About the party. About what she actually said to you. About Miami, about James. About how you paid for everything while she was saving her money to spend on herself. I thought I raised her better than this, or at least I hoped I did. "It is what it is, Diane," I said. "I kicked her out," Diane continued. "She's staying with some friend from high school now. She's working at a Mac counter at the mall, still acting like she's the victim in all this, even though literally everyone has seen those videos. But I wanted you to know that even her own mother sees the truth now. You're a good man, Brian. You deserved so much better than what she gave you." I thanked her, and we hung up. It felt like closure somehow. My business is actually thriving now. That job for the surgeon's medical practice led to 3 more medical buildings. Turns out that being a worthless loser who actually shows up on time, does quality work, and treats people with respect beats having a fancy job title any day of the week. Last weekend, I ran into Qley and her husband at a restaurant downtown. They saw me sitting alone and invited me to join them at their table. "Heard your business is really taking off," the husband said. "Respect, man. Starting something from scratch takes serious balls." Qley leaned over and added, "We all knew Natalie was high maintenance, but we had no idea she was that cruel. The way you handled everything, just walking away with your dignity intact, that was impressive." "I just did what she told me to do," I said with a shrug. I stopped being her loser. They both laughed at that. We ended up becoming actual friends. Funny how things work out sometimes. The connections you make after everything falls apart can be stronger than the ones you had before. The ultimate irony in all of this? Natalie is still posting motivational quotes on Instagram about knowing your worth and not settling for less, all while working retail and living on someone's couch. Her bio still says, marketing professional and lifestyle influencer. Her last sponsored post was for some teeth whitening scam that got her account flagged for false advertising. Me? I just bought a truck for the business last week. Paid cash. It's got my company logo on the side, professional lettering, the whole thing. I hired my first employee too, a kid fresh out of trade school who reminds me of myself before I let someone convince me I wasn't good enough. Yesterday, I saw Natalie at a gas station. Pure coincidence, I was filling up the new truck. She was driving this beat-up 2003 Honda Civic with a cracked windshield. She saw me, and I could see her face change, like she was about to walk over. But then she saw the logo on my truck. BT Climate Control, and underneath it, the tagline I'd added, "We fix what's broken." She just stopped, turned around, and walked back to her car without saying a single word. Trevor asked me later if I regretted any of it. "Regret what?" I said. She was right. I was a worthless loser. Worthless to her because I didn't fit her image. Losing her respect because I didn't have some fancy title she could brag about. But she was wrong about one thing. I did have ambition, just not the kind she could post about on Instagram. "So, you're good?" Trevor asked. "Better than good," I told him. I'm worth exactly what I always was. A hardworking guy who pays his bills, keeps his word, and treats people with respect. Turns out that's worth a hell of a lot more than she ever thought. This morning, I got a text from an unknown number. Heard you're doing well. I'm happy for you. I know you'll never forgive me, but I wanted you to know I learned my lesson. I didn't reply. Some lessons you have to learn alone, and besides, I've got a business to run. I can't waste any more time on people who already told me exactly what they think I'm worth. That chapter's closed. I'm writing new ones now.